Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make this happiness gloves. And if you can't tell, they say the word happy down here at the bottom. And they're really intricate, and they use two different colors of yarn. I used a yarn that was kind of both light colored, but if you use like a dark and really light colored, it'll really stand out. Now this tutorial is an advanced knitting tutorial. I don't go over all the steps in the video. All the steps are in the PDF file, and you're going to have to download that. The link is in the description below. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with our main color. I'm using blue for the main color and this yellow color for my offset color. So we're just going to start off with the main color. What you want to do is, using a long tail or a crochet cast on, you're going to cast on 48 stitches on 3 needles. I'm going to put 24 on my first needle, 12 on the second, and 12 on the third. Alright guys, so now I have 48 stitches on my needles, and I'm going to join in the round. I have 24 on this needle, 12 on this one, and 12 on this one. Now I'm going to cast an extra stitch on this third needle, so now I have 13 stitches, or a total of 49 stitches on all of my needles. And then what I'm going to do is take the very first stitch from my first needle and just slip it to my third needle. And then I'm going to take that 13th stitch that I just cast on my third needle and slip it over that first stitch. And off the needle. Now I'll take that first stitch and just slip it back onto my first needle, and you can pull on the ends to tighten it up. What we're going to do first is knit 2, purl 2 all the way around, and you're just going to continue knit 2, purl 2 until your cuff measures 2 inches. Alright, so after you've knit 2, purl 2 until your work measures 2 inches, we're going to do an increase round. And the increase round is just repeated for the stitches on that first needle, the one with the 24 stitches. So you're going to knit 7, knit 1 front back 3 times. So I just knit 7, and then I'm going to knit 1 front back, and that's the first time. Then I'll repeat that 2 more times. So now I should have 27 stitches on this first needle. And then I'm just going to knit the rest of the stitches, and it will be a total of 51 stitches. Alright, now we're going to start on the color work charts. So you're going to need to pull out your other color. So for this first needle, we're going to be following chart A. For the other 2 needles, the one with 12 stitches on them each, we're going to be following chart B. So we just did row number 1, where we increased. We're going to start with row number 2, and you work from right to left across the chart. And all the stitches, unless otherwise noted, are knit. What I'm going to do is show you row number 2. So I'm just going to start using my second color. So row number 2 is to knit 3 blue, then knit 1 yellow, and then you're going to knit 6 blue, and knit 1 yellow. Then knit 4 blue, knit 1 yellow, knit 1 blue, knit 1 yellow, knit 2 blue, knit 1 yellow, knit 1 blue, knit 1 yellow, knit 2 blue, knit 1 yellow, and knit 1 blue. Now we're going to move on to chart B. So chart B, we're going to repeat this across these 2 needles. We're going to knit 1 yellow, knit 2 blue, and knit 1 yellow. So knit 1 yellow, knit 2 blue, knit 1 yellow, knit 1 yellow, knit 2 blue, knit 1 yellow, and just keep repeating this all the way around until you get back to the beginning. And that is row number 2. You work the rest of the rows just the same way, just follow chart A for this needle and chart B for these 2 needles. And I'm going to come back for row number 14, which is where you start your thumb on, and I will show you how to get your thumb started. Alright guys, so now you can see here is that I just finished round 13, and I'm about to start on round 14 for the thumb. Now if you're making the left hand, you want to start the thumb on the very first stitch of the very first row. If you're making the right hand, you want to start the thumb on the very last stitch. Now I'm going to be making the left hand, so I'm going to start my thumb on this very first stitch here. So I'm going to get a stitch marker. So I'm going to knit 1 front back in this very first stitch to start my thumb. So insert your needle, knit 1 through the front, then I'm going to slide that stitch marker on because I just made an extra stitch that's going to be used for my thumb pattern, and then knit 1 through the back. And then you're just going to continue knitting all the other stitches in the pattern, and they're all yellow. Alright, so now I just finished round 14. So what I'm going to do now is go on to round 15, and this stitch right here before the marker, you're going to use the thumb chart on this stitch. And then of course you're going to use chart A still on these, and then chart B on these stitches. And I'll see you back for the next hard round, which will be binding off the thumb stitches, so for round 36. Alright, so I just finished round 36. And I'm back at round 37 for the thumb gusset. Now I'm going to need a yarn needle and a scrap piece of yarn. So just thread your scrap piece of yarn on your yarn needle. And now I'm making the left hand. So I'm going to run into my thumb stitches at the very beginning of my round. So when starting round 37, if you're making the left hand, you're going to slide all of these stitches, there should be 20 stitches on your thumb gusset, onto the scrap piece of yarn. And I just slide my stitches as if to purl, and I just slide them all onto the scrap piece of yarn. Then you're going to tie a knot in your scrap piece of yarn to make sure that you don't lose any stitches. So now we are done with these stitches. These are going to form the thumb hole so that you can stick your thumb out of your new gloves. So now we're going to start round 37 of the top of your fingerless glove, and then we'll continue working the back. So you're just going to bypass all of these stitches and knit into this stitch, and it will close the gap. You want to make sure that for the first few rounds of this you knit really tightly. Alright guys, and because I have short fingers, I'm going to go ahead and stop on round 48. So you're going to keep knitting after the thumb until your work hits the very top of your fingers. So some people it's going to be longer, some people it's going to be shorter. Alright guys, so now we're just going to go back to using the main color yarn, which for me is the blue. So go ahead and cut the yellow yarn. And now we're going to decrease back to the 48 stitches. So you're just going to knit 7, knit 2 together for this first needle, so it should be 3 times. So knit 7, knit 2 together 3 times, and then knit the rest of the stitches for this round. Now for round 2, you're going to knit 2, purl 2 all the way around. You're going to do that for 1 to 2 inches, so just for as long as you want your glove to be on your fingers. Alright guys, now we're going to move on to the thumb. So we have all these stitches that are on the scrap yarn. What you're going to do is pull the scrap yarn out and then put 10 stitches on one needle. And then you're going to put the other 10 stitches on the other needle. So now you want to pick up 5 stitches on the back here. So now I should have 25 stitches. Now I'm just going to use my main color yarn. You can do something funky with the different colors if you wish. Now you want to leave a long tail on your yarn because you're going to have some holes that you're going to need to weave in. So what I'm going to do is knit 1 round. And I always start with the needle with the 5 stitches on it, but you can really start anywhere. You just pull on this to tighten it up, and then just knit the rest of the stitches. Alright, and now for round 2, we're going to do a decrease round if the thumb is too big. So first of all, you want to try it on and make sure that the thumb is big or small, or I'm going to do a decrease round on my thumb. So the decrease round is to knit 3, and then knit 2 together. And if you think your thumb is fine, you would just knit all stitches. So knit 3, knit 2 together all the way around.